Pete! Oh! Your boy, Bill 47, for real. AM, PM, all day, popping off as much rugby league information as possible. Finally, at the tail end of the Wooden Spoons, West Tigers 2022 Wooden Spoon in Australian Rugby League. So you don't miss any essential rugby league information watching this video all the way through to the end, as per always. Sorry. So excited this time because there's some absolutely, and I've said it many times before, but if I ever really needed to mean that there's some frivolous, outlandish, freakish, ridiculous rugby league stats, then it's in this one. In 2022 season, West Tigers had the same score twice, and they had a different score, and they had a different score exactly 3 times in one season. Now, I'm not sure that's ever happened ever before in the history of rugby league, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it. This is going to be a long video because there's so much to go through, and it's just the third last of the Wooden Spoons, finally at the end of the Wooden Spoon. So, West Tigers 2022 Wooden Spoon in Australian Rugby League, 25 rounds in the season, 4 wins only, although it should have been 5. That's another talking point in this video. So they had 4 wins, 20 losses and 1 bye, but it should have been 5 wins, 19 losses and 1 bye. They still would have got the spoon even if they did win that 5th game, which I thought was unfairly stolen from them in round 19 against Cowboys, but we'll get to that. We've got another special edition video specifically for that game, 2022 round 19, where it ended up Cowboys 27, Tigers 26, but that's not what should have happened in my opinion. So we'll get to that as well. I'll have a video just for that one. Right, all the usual stats. So Tigers in 2022 had scored only 352 points and conceded 679, falling against minus 327. So I said in the 2021 Wooden Spoon, which went to Bulldogs, they conceded more than double what they scored, while Tigers only a little bit less than double what they scored. They're getting close. They're getting close to conceding double what they scored as well, scoring 352, conceding 679 points, falling against minus 327. The leading try scorers Ken Mamalo with 12 tries, and then David Norfolk with 8 tries. But unfortunately, those 2 leading try scorers ended up with the leading point scorers as well. That's just how few points the team was scoring. The leading point scorer was Adam Dewey, and he could only get 52 points, and that was enough to be leading point scorer, which is always bitterly disappointing. So Adam Dewey, 2 tries, 22 goals, 52 points for Tigers in 2022. And then Ken Mamalo's 12 tries and no goals is 48 points, which puts him in second, unfortunately. Then Luke Brooks got 2 tries, 13 goals and 1 field goal. Wasn't a match-winning field goal though, in one of their rare wins. 35 points by Luke Brooks. And then David Norfolk with 8 tries. That was 32 points. So the 2 leading try scorers ended up 2 of the leading point scorers as well, which is always bitterly disappointing. So, the only 4 games that Tigers did win, and the other one they should have won in 2022, Moments in the Sun, in round 6. They had finally got their first win of the year and beaten Parramatta 21-20 at Combank Stadium. Jackson Hastings got the winning field goal on that one. In round 7, they beat South Sydney 23-22 at Combank Stadium. Luke Brooks got the winning field goal on that occasion. In round 11, they'd beaten Bulldogs 36-22 at Leichhardt Oval. In round 20, a Broncos boil-over, beating Brisbane 32-18 at Suncorp in round 20. But before that, in round 19, and like I said, we're going to have a full-length video just for this one coming up as the next video before we finish off the 2023 and 2024 Wooden Spoons, just because it popped up, so I wanted to chuck it in as well. 2022 round 19, at full time after 8 minutes, the score was Tigers 26, Cowboys 25. Then, as the last play of the game right at full time, Cowboys were awarded a penalty, which meant that the Cowboys player Valentine Holmes took a shot at penalty goal, which he landed, to give Cowboys a 27-26 win. That's the very last play of the game, that penalty goal attempt. Tigers thought it was definitely an unfair penalty, and so do I. So I have a whole video for that controversial finish coming up. Due credit to Valentine Holmes, though, because that penalty goal, it was about 40 metres out. Wasn't right on the touchline, but it was close. Like, it was pretty close to the touchline, so it was, a very difficult penalty attempt to win the game, and he nailed it. So props there, but probably shouldn't have been awarded in the first place, but we'll go through that in more detail. But, what's absolutely rocking up, really like to celebrate a team's losses and embarrassing moments. That's why I'm jumping up and down. I just can't believe. So out of all the West Tigers' embarrassing losses in 2022, twice, they lost exactly 30 points to 4 twice, which I can't believe. And on 3 occasions, they lost exactly 36-12. So they lost by the same score twice, and the same different score 3 times in the same season, which might not have ever happened before in the history of rugby league. Not that I like to celebrate a team's wooden spoons or embarrassing losses, but that's what happened, and it gets me full of beans, and it does get me excited nonetheless, even though I probably shouldn't be. Anyway, and one of the losses, which isn't 30 points to 4 or 36-12, one of them I was at, and it's got special recommending to this channel, in fact, so it's absolutely incredible. So this is going to be a bumper jam-packed wooden spoon video. So, Tigers' embarrassing losses in 2022. First of all, in round 5, 30 points to 4 lost to Cronulla at Shark Park Sunday afternoon game, and the only try scored by Ken Mamilo for Tigers. He didn't get the only try until late in the game, where they were already behind 30-0, and it was nothing but consolation because they didn't get held scoreless. In round 10, like I said, 36-12 lost to Cowboys at Suncorp Stadium, not the round 19 game that I just mentioned. 2022 round 10, Cowboys 36, West Tigers 12. That's the last game of Magic Round at Suncorp Stadium on the Sunday night. In round 12, a 44-18 hiding from South Sydney at Accor Stadium, Saturday night. In round 14, like I said, in round 14, for the second time, 30 points to 4. This time, 30 points to 4 lost to Manly at Campbelltown Stadium Sunday afternoon. Manly only led 6-4 at half time, so it was a nice, tight, close game early on. Before, early in the second half, the West Tigers' Brent Naden had an absolute brain explosion, and he did a completely unnecessary, completely dangerous high tackle on Manly's Jake Trbojevic, and he got sent off. We quite often do see players sin bin these days, but send-offs are not as common, and that obviously meant the Tigers had to play the rest of the second half a man down with only 12 men, which allowed Manly to score a few late tries and win 30 points to 4. So that was in round 14. The very next game, round 22, round 15, 36-12 loss. This time the Bulldogs at CommBank Stadium. So not only was it the second 36 points to 12 loss in 2022, it was also just after, it was also the very game after the round 14 30 points to 4 loss. And also only 4 weeks after Tigers had actually beaten Bulldogs at Leichhardt, which I mentioned 36-22. Only 4 weeks later, Bulldogs got them back and beat them 36-12 for CommBank. So it's absolutely, ridiculous. Then, the next embarrassing game, believe it or not. Wow. The next embarrassing game, 2022 round 22, Cronulla Sharks 36, Tigers 12 at Scully Park, Tamworth. So that game played at a neutral venue in Tamworth, and it's great to see that NRL takes games to rural country areas these days. But that didn't help Tigers on this occasion. Cronulla Sharks 36, West Tigers 12, 2022 round 22. So the third 36-12 loss in the season in 2022 round 22. I just can't believe. Then, to finish off the season, the last 3 games, to wrap up their first ever wooden spoon, in round 23, an almost inconceivable scoreline, Roosters 72, West Tigers 6 at the SCG Saturday night game. Roosters 72, Tigers 6, believe it or not. In round 24, only a 2-point loss, but just as humiliating, I think. They ended up losing to St George Illawarra Dragons 24-22 at CommBank Stadium Sunday afternoon game that I was fortunate enough to attend. And also embarrassing because that loss meant that they had the wooden spoon wrapped up. Wouldn't matter what happened in the last round, in round 25. This round 24 loss guaranteed Tigers' first ever wooden spoon. They got the first 2 tries only 12-0 early. They had all the 50-50 calls go their way. They had to bounce with the ball, rub the green, but they just couldn't get the job done, and eventually Dragons stole the win 24-22. Most importantly, if you look at my channel here, if you look at this YouTube channel, you'll see that I've got a picture of a game being played on CommBank Stadium as my channel banner on this channel. That's the exact game I'm talking about. So before the Dragons 24, Tigers 22 game, round 24 in 2022, that was the main game. So the curtain raiser game was a women's game, where Parramatta Eels beat St George Illawarra Dragons 16-10 in the women's game. And the channel banner I've got here, that's a picture of that specific Eels Dragons game. So, wow, like I said, jam-packed full of information, this one. Then, the last game of the season, Tigers will never have any chance of beating the Green Machine, and they were flogged by the rampant Raiders 56-10. Canberra Raiders 56, West Tigers 10 at Leichhardt, round 25, 2022, Sunday afternoon game. Last game of the regular season to finish it off. So there you go. West Tigers' inaugural wooden spoon out of the way. Yes, it was their inaugural wooden spoon as a joint venture, but unfortunately it's also become their annual wooden spoon. As we all know, they've gotten the last 3 wooden spoons. But before we get to 2023 and 2024 spoons, we're going to do a full review of the 2022 round 19 game where Tigers got ripped off losing to the Cowboys 27-26 when they should have won 26-25. They still would have gotten the spoon anyway, even if they had won, but still very unfair to lose a game like that. So thank you so much for watching all the way through to the end, so you didn't miss any bumper jam-packed Rugby League information. And thank you so much for hanging with me for over a year while I finally got these wooden spoons on at a snail's pace. Better late than never. Goodbye all day, 47, 2-1.